Hear ye! Hear ye!
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the open session of our Executive Board. Please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You're on, Chris.
Okay, we'll get started, and I'll ask the General Manager for your report, please.
Excellent, thank you. I hope everyone enjoyed the comedy show that attended. Sorry for the delay. We had to push our meeting back 30 minutes to accommodate that, but I hope those that came enjoyed. I will give a quick update on some action items. First is a legal mailing regarding the petition to amend the CC&Rs. Now, members should have received mailings from the association's legal counsel, and they look like this. They're from Fiore, Rakups, and Powers. And regarding the association's petition to reduce the percentage of affirmative votes necessary to amend the CC&Rs pursuant to Civil Code Section 4275. This process is required to ensure that we meet the December 31st, 2021 deadline to modify the governing documents as described under Civil Code Section, or the new Civil Code Section 4741F. Now, the board will be publishing a letter that will be posted on the association's website that will provide some more details as well as timelines for what is happening next. Now, let's talk about drought-tolerant projects. Now, a member asked at the last meeting about future drought-tolerant projects. Now, the board will be conducting town halls in the fall to gather input from members and discuss a potential drought-tolerant ballot issue. Now, on to some bad news. Pool closures. Unfortunately, we were advised today by the association's pool maintenance provider that we will be unable to obtain liquid or tab chlorine to keep the pools open. There is currently a supply chain problem. Several factors include COVID-19 and the loss of a major chlorine plant in Louisiana. These have contributed to a shortage of chlorine. You're probably going to hear that on the news. It has started and it's continuing. Now, our association utilizes roughly 200 gallons of chlorine a week for all the pools, the subs, all three of the north, south, and Maine. Now, we've been, in our conversations this morning with the pool supplier, they've been notified that they can no longer get chlorine. Their last shipment came into Marietta, and that's it. They've put in orders, they're not getting any. So we have enough to last until Monday, July 5th, literally after the July 4th holiday. And this is just not our association. Across the street, Four Seasons, their citizens or their members are getting notification that their pools will be closed. This is also just not a banning thing. This is also going along to other associations. Now, the association will be forced to close the pools, and that closure could last 3 to 4 weeks, depending on when pallets come in of liquid and tab chlorines. Now, Mark Schleiden, Operations Department, will be following up daily with our pool suppliers, and in turn, on-site staff will be providing update to the community through the association websites. If you try to go down to, what's the one that all Do It Best, they are out. We went down there and purchased 44 liquid bottles that they had in stock. So just wanted to give that update. We will continue to update the community. Unfortunately, this is unfortunate news. We do apologize for that, but we will continue to keep the community updated. That completes my report.
Thanks, Chris. Jason, for the executive session.
Thank you, Madam President. Good evening, everyone. This report will give the community an update on actions that were taken by the board at executive sessions on June 16th and June 30th, at which time litigation, member discipline, formation of contracts, and personnel matters were discussed. With member matters, the board reviewed 5 show cause hearings. The board reviewed 2 homeowner requests for delinquency fee waivers. The board reviewed and denied a homeowner request for a fine waiver. The board reviewed 4-member requests for an overnight parking variance, approving 3 and denying 1. The board reviewed a homeowner request for an annual golf refund. The board reviewed 2 appeals of a MAC decision. The board reviewed a homeowner violation of the master architectural standards. The board reviewed and denied a homeowner request for a modification to the assignment of privileges. The board reviewed a homeowner request for a payment plan. The board reviewed and approved a self-help on an abandoned property. The board approved Richard Spalding to be the EPAP Emergency Operations Center custodian. And the board met with the vice chair of the delegate assembly. With legal, the board tabled the minutes from the May 10th and May 22nd, or May 26th, 2021 executive sessions until the July meeting. The board approved the food and beverage and golf receivables as of May 31st, 2021, and the assessment account receivables as of May 31st, 2021. In addition, the board also approved the Securitas incident analysis report from May 16th through June 16th, 2021. The board approved a foreclosure on lien and recorded the notice of default on the following: APN 440-320-077, APN 419-300-025, APN 440-040-034, APN 440-101-069, and APN 440-030-039. The board voted to continue to move forward with a foreclosure on a property, and the board reviewed and approved the removal of the open house moratorium. Finally, in formation of contracts, the board received a number of updates from the management company. The board reviewed and approved the 2022 reserve study proposal with Association Reserves. The board continued to work on the strategic plan and is looking to present it to the community at a town hall in late July. And finally, the board reviewed the pavement rehabilitation project. This item is on tonight's agenda for final approval, and that completes the report on executive session actions.
Thank you, Jason. As you can tell, we've been very busy. So now we'll go to the reports. City of Banning, please.
Good evening. I'm Mary Hamlin, your City Council representative. The good news is we're having a July 4th celebration. It will be at Nicollet Middle School. Gates open at 6 p.m. There'll be a band and DJ and food vendors with fireworks about 9 o'clock. Remember, fireworks are illegal in Riverside County, so if you want fireworks, go to Nicollet. Also, please put your pets indoors. We experience a lot of runaway animals during this time. In August, the Playhouse Bowl will resume concerts. They will have tribute bands. On Thursday, the 5th of August, it'll be a Beach Boys. The 12th will be the Doobie Brothers. 19th will be Journey. The 26th will be Alabama. And a bonus concert on Thursday, September 2nd, the Highwaymen. Okay? The city will be collecting school supplies for the kids at the Banning schools. There will be a box in the City Hall lobby. Hopefully, we will get a box here. They also accept cash donations, but next time you're up at Walmart or Dollar Tree, pick up some pens, pencils, notebook paper, index cards, backpacks, whatever you can do. We have a history of providing these school supplies to these kids. The city now has 8 new police officers and 2 new dispatchers. That brings the total of 31 officers for the city, which is 1 per 1,000 residents. The national average is, I think, 2 or 2.5 per 1,000 residents. We were running about half of that for a while, so now we're up to a minimum. Detectives have been working diligently to solve cold cases. They have solved several of them. There is only one left, and our rate is well above the national average on that. People always ask me about bringing Costco or Target or something like that to Banning. It's not going to happen until we have more residents with a higher average income, and we're working on that. We have the new Atwell development by the hospital, and there will be another new development called Rancho San Gregorio, which will be down near the high school. That's going to be a total of about 7,000 homes, and hopefully the median income will rise on that. They also asked me about the homeless situation. You might have noticed that there is a camp on Williams near the courthouse. That is on private property. The city cannot move those people out. The police cannot make them move. The only thing the police can do is arrest somebody if they're breaking the law. However, we will rebuild Ramsey Street Village, and we are going to have a hired supervisor so that we can hopefully get the residents to behave. The stay will be limited to 60 or 90 days, and they must participate in programs and counseling. After Ramsey Street Village is established, then anybody on the street who does not want to participate can be asked to leave. Now, how can we help? We can help by not giving the people on the street anything. And that means money, food, socks, tarps, I don't care what it is. Instead, give to organizations that help them. Give to HELP, Carol's Kitchen, Set Free, Table of Plenty, Faith in Action. The people on the street aren't necessarily homeless. It creates a traffic problem. It creates a litter problem. Be responsible. Practice responsible compassion. And that will go a long way to helping keep the city clean. Drought situation. Yes, we're under a drought, as you all know, you hear it on the news, but be assured that Banning has an adequate water supply for now and future use. But we still need to be conservative. I'm training myself to turn off my water when I'm brushing my teeth, wet the brush and turn it off. Watch your water usage. Let's not waste what we have. Also, since we are not an Edison customer, we should be safe from rolling blackouts. But again, we need to be conservative. Watch our usage between 4 and 8 p.m. Set your thermostat at 78. Use fans for circulation. We could be subject to blackouts, but at this point, it's not likely. And finally, the new animal shelter opens up tomorrow. It will be run by the ARE Animal Rescue out of Hemet, which is a nonprofit. And no more having to go all the way to Riverside or the desert to retrieve your little lost companion. It is a nonprofit, and I'm sure they're going to be looking for volunteers and donations, so we're real excited about that. Any questions?
Mary, I have one. Where is that located?
That is located near the airport. I don't have an exact address with me, but anybody who wants the address can go on the city website, or they can contact me and I'll get the address. It was the former animal shelter that they volunteers refurbished, and from what I understand, it's quite nice. Yes, ma'am.
Barbara, you need to come up so that everybody can hear you. That's okay.
You can come. I'll share.
Thank you. So I heard this at the city council meeting. This person has a private lot, and he has some of the homeless camping on there. So there is no ordinance in Banning that says he has to have plumbing, he has to have electricity, he has to have something. But he can just let anyone camp on his property. He doesn't have to have a business license. There is nothing that the city can do. And I heard Los Angeles was looking at their ordinances again to see what they could do about getting some of the homeless off the street and doing ordinances to make that happen. So if we have not one ordinance that prevents that from happening, then hopefully the city will look at that again over the next few months. Thank you.
I'm not familiar with all the ordinances. I have a feeling that code enforcement probably has some, but that's a long process. And up until we hired the 8 police officers, code enforcement couldn't handle everything. So I think now, with more officers on the street, we can look at those ordinances. We do have an ordinance against panhandling. And if you're coming from the east and getting off at Highland Springs, there is a sign there that says, city ordinance, no panhandling. They still do it. But the way to get them to stop is don't give them anything. The way I explain it to people is if you give someone $1, they can go to McDonald's and get a drink, or they can go to Taco Bell and get a taco. What happens to that cup and that paper when they're done? It gets thrown away. But what happens if you give that $1 to Carol's Kitchen or Table of Plenty or Help? That could be a bag of groceries or socks or, help to the right people. I'm sure all of you have heard stories about somebody panhandling on the street and then goes around the corner and gets in a nice car and drives home. Also, the police are like, don't block traffic. Don't have somebody come out to get money. Just be responsible and don't, and you know who's the most guilty? Seniors. We're the ones that, have the means and have the heart, and we have the time and we do it. Yes, sir, I saw a hand back there.
You'll need to come up to the microphone, please.
Come on, get your 15 minutes of fame on Channel 97.
Wait till you get to the microphone.
Why don't they put signs up there where the railroad tracks are, saying not to give money to the panhandlers? Because there's just a few people here. There's 10,000 people on the street out there. Big traffic jam most of the time.
Down in Murrieta and Temecula, in that area, those cities joined together and had a campaign called Responsible Compassion. I'm in touch with one of the city council members from Beaumont, and I'm working with them to try to get a campaign going where we have advertising and stories in the newspaper and posters in shops, and maybe even something on that nice electronic billboard. But I'm working on getting a campaign to do just exactly what he said, to notify the public. And we're also going to encourage businesses to, if people are loitering outside their establishment, to call the police and have them come and ask them to move. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you'll need to. Yeah, no, you do, because
You need your,
Pam, it's
You need
because
your-
you're on camera.
yeah, you
We
need
gotta
your
get you on
15
camera.
minutes of fame on Channel 97.
Not infamous, Pam.
This is going to sound kind of heartless, and I apologize ahead of time. However, isn't there a way that they can give tickets to people who pay the panhandlers? I mean, prostitution is illegal, and they give tickets to the people that rent a prostitute. I don't know how they do that. Lease, rent, short-term lease, I don't know. If you do that to one or two, if you
Yes.
do that to one or two people in here, it'll get around and it'll stop.
The police have every right to give you a ticket for impeding traffic. It's just that up until now, they have been so short-staffed that they had other things that they were solving cold case murders, okay? So I think that sort of took precedent over giving somebody a ticket for impeding traffic. But yes, the police do have the right to give someone a ticket for impeding traffic by giving somebody on the street money or items. So you're right on that. Yes, ma'am, in the pink, my favorite color.
Just recently, I was reading in one of the throwaway papers that some of the stores do not even attempt to stop shoplifting, and that seems to me like they're encouraging that. Is there some way of getting to the different businesses around and having them be responsible too? Because we're all paying more if they're letting these people walk out with product for nothing.
One of the things that we can do, and I learned this when Rite Aid used to be in the old Rite Aid place, is if you buy something at the store, do not throw your receipt away outside the store, because they have a tendency to go pick it up out of the trash, go back in the store, pick up the item, return it for cash, or walk out with it. There are liability issues about chasing shoplifters, and some companies would rather just let the person go and not worry about it. Also, if anybody shoplifts more than $950, it is a felony. Shoplifters go in with a calculator. Trust me, I know this. I work in the jail. I know these people. They will actually go into a store with a calculator and pick up $949 worth of stuff and walk out with it, because they know even if they get arrested, it's a misdemeanor. But you're right, we can help by keeping an eye out for it, and don't throw your receipt away outside the store. Take your receipts home and destroy them. Yes, ma'am, in the back.
Two things, and that is, I do go get, on the daily basis, a Diet Coke at our little gas station right here. I can't tell you how many times I will see same people, multiple times, sitting there with their car parked in the gas station as if they have no money and they've run out of gas. And of course, these young ladies go around asking for money. And I can't tell you how many times I see it happening. And ladies and gentlemen, as Mary said, it's us doing it. I say to the owner of the gas station, can't you call the police? Can't you stop this? I hate being harassed. And they said they won't do anything. There's nothing. So ideally, these businesses perhaps need these signs stating, do not give the money, besides on the railroad tracks and everywhere else. That was number one I wanted to say. And the other thing that I wanted to say was, my daughter does work for Vaughn's grocery store down in Orange County. And in management, they have been advised, just as you said, that if they know, and there are the same homeless people that go around stealing, if you see it going on as management, you are to follow them, you are to mirror them throughout the store, but you are not to do anything. And I think, unfortunately, it does send a message to that homeless community. Hey, free for all down here, as long as you follow that calculator the whole bit. So anyway, just that, I had to throw my 2 cents.
Yes, sir.
This is the last question for Mary, please.
yeah.
We need to keep going on our agenda.
My email is in the phone book. Unfortunately, my phone number has been changed, but my email is still correct, so email me.
Yeah, thanks, Mary. You said that since we're not part of not part of Edison, we probably won't be as susceptible to blackouts. So that I can take a look at that, how would I find out more information on it?
Call Tom Miller, city. He's the head of the electric department.
Okay, that's easy, thank you.
All right. Thank you for your attention. As I said, my email is in the book. Shoot me an email, and I will do my best to get back to you or refer you to the appropriate person in city.
Mary, I had one question, if you don't mind. I noticed that we have 8 new police officers for Banning PD. Do we anticipate any of them doing some sort of patrol of our community?
That would be a question for Chief Hamner.
Okay,
So my suggestion would be to call him.
check with Matt, okay.
Yeah, check with Matt.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Mary.
And as some famous actor once said, I'll be back.
And for everybody out there, that the shelter, the address is 2444 Charles Street. So 2444 Charles Street is the address of the new shelter.
Thank you, Jason. Okay, we'll go on to the sub-association reports. The first one is Lakeside. Any report? No report. Lakeside 2? No report. Fairway Villas? No report, it looks like. Okay, how about the delegate assembly?
Thank you, Madam President. I'm Randy Robbins, the Vice Chair of the Delegate Assembly. On behalf of Chairman Joe Firmino and myself, there's a quick synopsis of our meeting that was held on June 3rd. We had the pleasure of Banning City Mayor Colleen Wallace here, and she's a fourth-generation Banning resident, and she had a lot to say. She stayed for an entire meeting. She had very much interest in what the Delegate Assembly did here in Sun Lakes. At the end of the meeting, David Keeley from the Charitable Trust presented her for 2 tickets to the Pancake Breakfast. I don't know if she attended. David, did she attend? He doesn't know either. She did, okay.
She did.
Yes, I believe she was there.
Thank you. The other things that we talked about at the meeting, we heard from Elise Campbell, our Recreation Director, talking about everything that was getting ready to open up, which much of it has in the last 30 days since that meeting. Elise also reported the promotion of Linda Vang from receptionist to the Lifestyles Coordinator. We heard from General Manager Chris Mitchell discussing the restaurant operations, and as we get more staff, as we get more staff, everything will be opening up even more and more. That's our goals. Our board president, Marcia Midget, discussed numerous topics with us, including abandoned homes, coffee with the GM, increased weekend patrols, and the new point of sale system, which I believe is targeted for September implementation. In addition to comments from the delegates and the committee, we're going to review and update as needed our delegate handbook. And this will help all alternate delegates and delegates, give them the proper tools to learn the expectations of a delegate. And then lastly, if tonight's consent agenda is approved without change, we will have a full assembly of delegates and alternates for all districts in Sun Lakes. Joe and I would like to thank delegates, alternates, district volunteers for their commitment to Sun Lakes. And our next meeting will be August 5th at 2 p.m. in the main clubhouse ballroom and shown live on Channel 97. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Randy. Okay, now we'll go ahead to the committees. Bingo, no report. The common area.
Good evening, Doug Swenson, Common Area Advisory Committee. As you know, we are charged with reviewing and inspecting all of the common areas within Sun Lakes. And we do a detailed check on all of the clubhouses. And so we do a very good job on that. And we also go around and look at all the public areas, common areas, the streets, the entryways, all kinds of different places. But we don't get to all of those every month. I know Mark and his staff are doing that on a constant basis, but we don't necessarily see each and every one of the corners of this place each month. So what I'm doing is I'm asking the members of Sun Lakes that if they're out and about and they see something that they think is not being maintained properly or needs some work or some question about it, give me a call and I will take it under advisement and we will address it. We try to get to everything, as like I said, on a monthly basis, but Sun Lakes is a big place and there's a lot of streets, a lot of miles, and we may miss something that is just little, and we know that if it's just little, we can take care of it in a heartbeat. So let me know, and thank you for your assistance. Good evening.
Thank you, Doug. The Communications Advisory Committee?
Good evening. I'm Marcia Gold. I'm a member of the Communications Advisory Committee. One item on the board agenda for tonight is to merge the Marketing and Communications Advisory Committees together to make a single committee. This will enable us to work together more cohesively for the benefit of the Sun Lakes community. In June, we continued our monthly segments with the admin update and coffee with the GM, and carried the master board and district delegate meetings live. In addition, we highlighted the golfing community with tips from the pro. We also introduced more of our administrative staff and began highlighting the all-new summer games. We are also beginning to receive many requests from clubs and groups and produced 27 quick looks in May to highlight their news. That is 2.5 times more than we created just last month. In addition, we have started posting a Sunday Week at a Glance on Good Day Sun Lakes and include all that important information on the Channel 97 crawl for those who are not on Facebook. Right now, we are accomplishing everything with a production team of only 3 volunteers, but hope soon to be ready to invite new talent to help us. We greatly appreciate the support that the Master Board sends our way. Thank you for partnering with us to improve communications to the Sun Lakes community. Respectfully submitted from Lee Stone, our committee chair.
Who happens to be up in the high booth up there, taking care of all this stuff? Thank you, Marcia. I really want to reinforce the fact that all of this is done voluntarily, and I don't think anybody really comprehends the amount of time that this group puts in. And so I think as a community, we owe these folks a great thank you for all the work that they do on any given day, not much, not even, I mean, including the entire month, but each day there's something new. The banner running across Channel 97 with updated news, the special of the day for all of these things are done on their own time. So to your crew, thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's go to the Finance Advisory.
Good evening, Board. Good evening, all. Mary Jo McElwain. I'm the Secretary for the Finance Committee. Our chairman is out of town this weekend. We're waiting for the board approval of our charter. There were 7 committee members approved by the board back in July, but overlooked was an amendment to our charter to make those membership changes. So this technicality is we asked to be addressed at the board's next meeting. In respect to our committee, we asked the board to interview the applicants and also have their approvals hopefully on the July agenda. We're going to need the additional members in order to properly review the budget, which is our primary responsibility. 4 major projects were presented to the board for their approval, and we have received a memorandum regarding their disposition. We're certainly disappointed with their decisions, but at this time, no further activity will be taken by the committee on these initiatives. For new business, our continued efforts will be directed to the budget process. We have reviewed the preliminary directives and suggest more specifics be addressed by management. A written report will be given to the board for their review. Our next our next finance meeting is scheduled for July 20th. It's an open meeting. You're welcome to attend and ask questions after the meeting is over. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary Jo. Okay, the Golf Advisory Committee, please. How about the Library Committee? Lifestyles?
Hello. Thank you for having me tonight. I'm Robin Warner, co-chairman of the Lifestyles Committee. Our chairman, Judy, wasn't able to be here tonight, so she asked me to step in with just a couple of things that she wanted me to share with everyone. First thing, Lifestyles magazine used to have an column called Lifestyles Bulletin Board, and it fell away at some point. And in August, we'll be bringing it back. And the Lifestyles Bulletin Board is going to be mainly a monthly article that will be promoting activities outside of Sun Lakes, but in Banning only, that are mainly nonprofit activities that we feel our residents might be interested in taking part in. So you can look forward to seeing that in August and hopefully take part in some of those activities. The other thing she wanted me to mention was that she's hoping the advisory board committees that are usually listed on page 2, I think, in the magazine, she'd like to encourage you all to submit short articles each month to the magazine, sharing information, promoting members and accomplishments in your committee. And also a reminder that all information submitted to the magazine be submitted by the 6th of the month by noon, and the address, it's by email. The address is in the magazine. And that was it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Marketing?
Hi, my name is Steve Von Reich, chairman of the Marketing Advisory Committee. As you heard earlier, excuse me, the Marketing Committee and the Communications Committee have decided to merge for efficiency. The Marketing Committee has had as its primary mission to do outside marketing. Guess what? We haven't needed to do anything. Everybody wants to live here. 2 years ago when we moved here, there was 131 listings. 2 months ago, there was 5. It's grown up to, I think the last report I got was 16. And houses are going very fast. So we haven't had a whole lot to do other than help support the mission of the Communications Committee. So that's going to happen when we merge the committees. So this is a good thing. The other thing I wanted to mention was the Welcome Home Committee for new residents is continuing to do its thing. Hopefully when things open up a little bit more now, we're going to be able to do some more gatherings. But they've been delivering packages to new residents this whole time. And boy, that's really all I've got. But thank you so much for your support. We love living here, and thank you.
Thanks, Steve. And David with the Master Architectural Committee.
Thank you, Madam President. David Marshall Keeley. I chair the Master Architectural Committee. And I'm going to play to the camera a bit because there's going to be more people watching this on Channel 97 than are in the room here tonight. So it's live. In case you don't come to the meeting, you can watch it live. Thank you to the team again that does a great job in bringing this to us, and you can see it on a regular basis. As I prepared to write my report tonight, my monthly report for the Master Architectural Committee, a concern of mine came to mind from friends and neighbors. It relates to the restricted zone on golf cart properties. That there's a restricted zone, and you found out about this from the literature that you got when you bought your home. You can also see it on the Sun Lakes website. You can also see it in your telephone book. Pages number 70 to 86 in your telephone book are the architectural standards. We as a committee are required to follow those guidelines. So you hear grumbling maybe about decisions made by the Master Architectural Committee. We're actually trying to protect property values and maintain the standards that have been established for all of these years, established all these years ago. So if you don't have a copy, you certainly can contact Planning and Compliance. They have a copy for you if you want a hard copy, but it's available to you in the locations that I just mentioned. This zone is in the corner of the property of all the golf course properties, and it's a 10-foot triangle basically, and it's to protect the view of the people who paid a lot of extra money when they purchased that home. I know that a number of homes were $25,000 premium. I know I have a friend that you would know him if I mentioned his name. They were wanting to buy a house when there were more houses purchased, and he didn't want to pay the $40,000, and it became $50,000, and he paid $60,000 premium for a golf course property. So it's really important that we take care of the guidelines. Very possibly there was a 19-inch plant that was planted in that restricted zone in the corner of the property, but if it's a cycad, it could be 2 or 3 or 4 feet. It needs to be 36 inches tall in the corner of that property. So the people that are nodding their head that live on the golf course right now, they understand it's important to have a courtesy, a relationship with your neighbors. So the Planning and Compliance Department is who we work with. We work with them carefully. They're doing a great job. And if you have an instruction in your property, why don't you contact them, and they can help you with the application that you need to make the change. And I'm going to reiterate that if you do anything on the outside of your house, you need to contact Planning and Compliance, because you can do whatever you want inside. Well, I don't want to say anything, because if you need a building permit from the City of Banning because you're going to do something really major, you need to contact the City of Banning for a building permit. But if you do anything outside the house, the easiest way for me to explain this is, you know that you need to paint your trim every 4 years, correct? You know that you need to paint the house every 16 years. That's just the tip of the iceberg. That's the outside of the house. If you're going to change windows, if you're going to do anything that's outside with planting or painting or making any changes outside, you need to pull a permit. So they're here to help you, so enjoy maintaining your property. Thank you very much.
Thank you, David. The Recreation Advisory Committee?
Good evening to everyone. Patricia Levy, Chair of the Recreation Advisory Committee. I hope some of you came to the comedy show tonight. The comedians were wonderful, and it was so fun to be out among a group again, right? So thanks to Elise, our Recreation Director, and our committee who got you seated, and hope you all had a wonderful time. So we are going to, on July 4th, of course, have the July 4th Cart Parade. I hope a lot of you have signed up for that. It'll be a fun day, and then all the goodies that come with it. So hope to see you out there. And on Thursday, July the 8th, Meridian Travel will be coming back again to highlight some of their 2022 trips. And that's always interesting to come to, too, because we're all anxious to pack those bags and get out again. And then Saturday, July 17th is a day trip down to Del Mar races with Silver Lining Travel, and that's $66 per, no, I'm sorry, $65 per person, and you call Silver Lining to make those reservations. And then on July 20th, another ice cream social. You have to come out for that because that's a lot of fun. That's $3 for a Sunday, and you can just help yourself to the extras. They don't really watch you very closely. Then our music entertainment in July, every Friday and Saturday night from 6:30 to 9:30. Fridays, entertainment in the lounge, and then Saturday on the veranda. And then the last Saturday of the month is Music Under the Stars, and that's always a fun event, and that'll be nice to have that again. And maybe some of you are new to that event. It's wonderful fun. You get in your golf cart, come up, you can bring your food, your tables, your chairs, your booze, whatever, and have a wonderful time listening to the music out there on the green. So that's always fun too. And for all of these events, you can find flyers out on the at the front desk by the reception desk. And my most important news to you is read your lifestyles, listen to Channel 97, and you'll always know what's going on. Thank you.
Thank you, Patricia. The RV storage. The restaurant and lounge.
Good evening. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for
I'm a
coming.
new member of the Restaurant and Lounge Committee. I'm the chairman for it, and I look forward to working with the board and the management to make it a better place. I know it's difficult times right now, but we are working very hard to get it open to full capacity. I hope to have more information for you next month.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Diane. And last but not least, anyone from safety?
Good evening. I'm Bill Bess, Chairman of the Safety Committee. We now have a complete committee and have been very busy having hearings on our many violations, mainly parking and leaving our garage doors open for whatever reasons. We are also seeing as we get out more and move around, we're also seeing speeding increasing again, and we are encouraged by many people to add more noisy speed humps. So they'll be coming, but we need to slow down. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bill. Okay, we'll go on to the consent agenda. Is there anything that the board would like to take off the agenda? Okay, I'd like to call for a motion to approve the consent agenda, please.
I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. So I'll tell you basically what we just approved. We approved the 5/26/21 open session minutes. We approved the receive and file May financial statements. We approved the liens that Chris has talked about, and he'll read the lien numbers.
Thank you. Those lien numbers are 0088-01, 1213-01, 1323-01, 2177-01, and 3192-01.
Thank you. We approved the merge of the marketing and communications committees, which will now be called the Marketing and Communication Committee. We approved the appointment of the Restaurant and Lounge Committee members, Victoria, I'm going to, hopefully I say this right, is it Simonton, and Lily Louette. They are taking the place of Russ, and I can't say his last name real quick, and Anderson, thank you, and Patty Brickner. So we thank Russ and Patty for their service, and thank Victoria and Lily for coming on. We accepted the resignation of District 3 alternate delegate Laurel Paulson. Again, thank you for your time and service. Approve the appointment of District 3 alternate delegate Chris Caffery. Thank you for volunteering. And then we approve the appointment of Michelle Walter to the Golf Advisory Committee. I know you're here. Are any of the others here whose name I called? You can stand up, Michelle. You're on. I think you're the only one that I see. So she's, I mean, of the other group. So Michelle is with the Golf Advisory Committee. We ratified the emergency pool repair expense that will be funded by the reserves. And then we approved the switching of District 16 delegate and alternate delegate positions. Raynell English will now be the District 16 delegate, and Jim Curry will be the alternate delegate. Okay, on to new business. Linda, would you like to give the treasurer's report, please?
Thank you. Looking at the restaurant, lounge, and veranda, the total meals served for May was 1,800, and in June, 1,600, but we've only looked at the first 20 days, and it was also Charity Week, and so we're hoping that's going to go up quite a bit. Curbside pickup for May was 1,000 meals picked up, and for June, 700 was picked up, and again, that was only for the first 20 days. We were talking at the board level, and it looks like curbside service is something that needs to stay because you're all enjoying it and supporting that, so we thank you for that. The restaurant is still behind in our revenue plan by almost $25,000. We really need to continue to promote using this amazing amenity that we have. We had a wonderful conversation with Diane yesterday with the Restaurant and Lounge, and they have some exciting things that I think we're going to see come forward from that committee. We look forward to that, Diane, and hopefully it'll bring in more people to the restaurant. Last weekend, we were here Friday. There was not one table available in the restaurant. There was not one seat available in the lounge. You were on the veranda, and I think there might have maybe been 2 tables, but it was packed. It was really packed, so I look forward to seeing what the revenue for June is going to be for that. The lounge net income for the month of May was $1,500, which is greater than budget, and again, let's hope that June will be also higher. Golf and Pro Shop operations continue to have increased revenue. And for the month of May, both departments had net income of roughly $18,000 over expectation. Though golf maintenance was over budget for the month of May due to several extreme hot days, year-to-date that department is under budget, but with continuation of hot weather, we may see water increase, which could cause the golf maintenance department to experience worse than planned budget losses. The 2022 budget is going to be extremely difficult to work on this year, as we are seeing increases from our vendors, both labor and for goods. For example, the cost of gasoline has increased to over 3%. We all know that. I filled up my car the other day and it was $75. I couldn't believe that. And we have not even been introduced to the summer blend yet, so who knows what that's going to go up to. This is just some percentages that I looked at. Ground beef, if you can find it, because they said we were going to not have it available, but that's increased 7%. This one I had a hard time believing. Hot dogs, 11% increase in hot dogs. I don't know if any of you have gone up the 5 and stopped at that Harris Ranch restaurant, which is like amazing. An 8-ounce filet mignon with 2 sides is $56. That doesn't include your drink, your tip, nothing but $56. Eggs in the Midwest went up 55%. I thought they raised chickens in the Midwest, but I guess that's not happening. So anyways, this just goes to show small examples of what the board is going to have to do and the fact within the next few months. I urge you to attend the open session for the board, for the budget, and the first meeting will be August 16th at 9 a.m. in the ballroom. So we look forward to seeing you there. We want your input. This is your community, and we need your help. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Linda. Okay, we're going to go on to the first approval item that we've got going on, and this is the rule change related to the minimum rental / lease periods of no less than 30 days. So Chris, could you please read the rule change?
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board, community. This is Rule Change 21-03 that is on tonight's agenda for final approval. If approved, the proposed rule change will change Section 3.04 of the Sun Lakes Rules and Regulations to comply with the new California Civil Code, Section 4741. The proposed rule change reads as follows. Under paragraph 3 of section 3.04 of the Association Rules and Regulations is hereby amended to read, number 3, no owner shall be permitted to rent or lease his, her, their property for a period of less than 30 consecutive days. An accessory dwelling unit, also known as an ADU, or a junior accessory dwelling unit, known as a JADU, may be installed upon a lot following prior application to and receipt of architectural approval from the Master Architectural Committee and receipt of approval and a permit from the City of Banning. Any such ADU or JADU may be rented or leased by the owner for residential purposes subject to the CC&Rs and rules and regulations for a term of not less than 30 consecutive days. That completes the rule change that will be, if approved.
Thank you. Okay, I'll ask for a motion on this rule change.
I propose a motion that we approve the rule change notification number 2103.
I second that.
Okay, any comments from the board?
I have a comment. Chris, I had a concerned homeowner contact me regarding this, and I just would like to have you clarify this, please, so that the residents can better understand exactly why we need to do this.
Not a problem. So what happened when AB 3182 that was approved by the governor in 2020, at the end of 2020, became effective January 1st, 2021. And what this did is any governing documents that had language that stated, like Sun Lakes had minimum rental periods of 1 year, that had been in the CC&Rs for a while since the amendment took place. But the act that was done that changed the civil code, changed 4741, basically overrode or superseded our rule. So in essence, at beginning January 1st, a house could be rented daily until an association amends their rules and regulations. And actually under 4741, there is a section that says that an association can amend its governing documents to put in a limitation of 30 days. So I guess in Sacramento, they felt that rentals were okay, but we'll put in a minimum 30 days. And so this rule, if approved, will put in a limitation of 30 days, meaning a property here, a condo or a house, must be rented for a minimum of 30 days. It can be a year, but a minimum. Because
So basically, it will be eliminating those rentals that could be done for a day or a few
week.
days.
Right.
Okay.
Which is currently the situation we have right now.
Okay.
And there has been, you've received comments, I have too, and I think some of the board, there are many members that are supporting this to put some type of, bless you, some type of control, a limit in there instead of a free-for-all.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments from the board? Any comments from the members? You need to come to the microphone, please.
My name is Eve Rusk, and I live right across the parking lot. Really, I'm just asking for information. I have been kind of out of it for about a year with a lot of the rest of you, and I don't understand this. Is it for all gated communities in the state of California?
Yes, so when AB 3182 was signed into law, all HOAs, communities were affected.
So all communities in California, in a gated community, have to rent houses?
No, what they can do is they cannot prohibit excessive limitations. The belief, and there's a whole legislative piece on it, the belief is that there's a shortage of housing and there should be more rentals readily available. And so HOAs like ourselves that had a CC&R amendment that said no less than 1 year, the law changed and said your CC&Rs, the CC&Rs of the HOA, irrelevant now. Those that relate to rental restrictions, it's basically zero. There's no limit. But the one caveat that the Civil Code did allow under 4741 is that associations can adopt language to set up a minimum rental period of at least 30 days. And so we had a year, that was the law here, or I'm sorry, that was the governing documents requirement here, January 1st. It went to zero after the law went into effect. And now we're putting this, if the board approves it, we will be able to have a rule that says no less than 30 days.
Okay, and the other part of it, what about the renting a portion of your house or building on a room or whatever? What is that going to do to Sun Lakes?
So there is the possibility that those junior units of the accessory dwelling units, the law states that the association cannot block those, that they must accept if a member goes through the process of the Master Architectural Committee, goes to get the city permitting, gets that done, that we cannot block these mother-in-law units, for lack of a better word, from being built and put on HOA in single-family homes. There's a little more control with Jason's subs, that they have control of the back that can block that still, because
So does this basically mean that we can have renters moving in and out next door to us every 30 days? And it means that people can be renting rooms in a house?
Yes.
Even though we have had 34 years of grandfathered CC&Rs?
Yes. The guidance in Sacramento passed that.
And that's
And I'm not either party, I'm just saying the brilliance of their, and I'm being sarcastic now, of why they did this. I agree with you, I don't like it. There are ways we're trying to fight it. We've already, the senior.
Community Action Coalition.
Yes, has already met with Chad Mays talking about this. We're not upset, we're not going to sit by idle. We have to make some of these changes as required by the law. This is one that we are allowed to at least block rentals less than 30 days. And we have to go through the legislative process of banging on the doors, calling, sending letters. And I'm just, if I can, I'm going to dovetail on what you're asking. To sit by and say, the HOA should do it, Chris Mitchell should do it, really is wrong. That's what up there, and I don't know if you've ever did in politics, but they have a little counter up there to say, if one person calls about that, that represents maybe 1,000 people in the district. 50 people call, okay, I got to get attention because they do a sampling and says, well, that's many people. To put it all on one person is short-sighted. You all need to participate in this, and this is what the board is doing, reaching out. It's going to be in the memo that will be posted on the website that the board is putting of, here are your elected officials. Email them, call them, write a letter, but communicate and say what asinine idea this was, and you need to overturn it. That is what we have to do now. It simply cannot snap and say, we're going to not obey the law, because that opens up other doors of lawsuits and everything in the association. We have to make our voice heard, and one voice, just Chris Mitchell, is not enough. We need the community to support this and write letters and communicate to our elected officials to overturn this law. That's what it comes down to.
Well, I see a lot of problems.
I am with you, and that we are very worried. This is, just to give you some insight, we'll be coming on during a town hall at the end of July. This is one of the things on the strategic plan that the board has said is a high priority that we need to address this, because there are other laws that are coming down the line, the brilliance that's going on right now, to make further change the lot line so that there's not a setback anymore. I mean, there are things that are going on in Northern California that I don't think they understand the ripple effect it will have on HOAs.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to just add on to that. There was a document that was sent out, and you could sign it that you don't agree with this, and I urge you all to look for it, sign that document. If you can't find the document, create a letter, send it up. We are not the only community. There are all the 55 and older communities are in the same position. We have to do the change. We don't like it, but we're going to work with everything we can to get us exempt from this.
I just had one other item, you guys. Sorry, Bruce, just give one second. If you remember, not too long ago, there was a posting that we sent out to the community. I believe it was on SB 9. It came from Community Associations Institute. That is, when we get those different articles or, literature on these different bills coming down, that's why we want to send it out. That's why we're e-blasting it to you as a community, so you guys are aware of this, so you know what SB 9 is going to do and not, break up the lots and allow you to put more than one dwelling on each lot and charge different fees. There's a lot of things that we want you guys to be aware of so that you can contact your legislative and say, hey, we don't like this. So anytime we do get any information coming from Sacramento, that's what we're going to blast it out to you guys, so you guys are aware of it.
Excuse me. My name is Bruce Patrick. Lived here with my wife for 12 years, going on 13, and just love it here at Sun Lakes. I am so distressed, as most people are, about this new law. But a couple of things. One is, in our e-blast emails, there's been an appeal for us to contact our congressmen, our legislators, and we don't know how to do that. I think when you send an appeal out like that, you need to say, this is where these things should go. And I agree, it's very important for all of us here. And we've got about 5,800 people that live in this community that can be very effective if we would do what you ask. But we don't know who they are, what their address is. So
I know that they're hiding out, Mr. Patrick. They're hiding out there in Sacramento. We got to find them. But that is something we will, in the document I just referred to, even in my opening comments, that we're going to give you their website, what their mailing address is, and so that those calls, so that there can be action from the community. So you're right, we need to arm you with the information.
The other thing I want to mention is we're not totally defenseless about this new law and what we can do about people that are applying to live here for 30 days or whatever. In our current CC&Rs is a list of requirements that people that live here are obligated to follow. And new applicants to rent something in our community, they are also subject to those CC&R regulations. And the one I'd like to just highlight right now is the age requirements. Nobody that is less than 55 if there's a couple, one has to be 55, the other one, minimum age is 46. So all of these things can be used to try to control what is affecting us. And the other thing is car parking. What are we going to do with these people that come in with 2 cars? I mean, that's, I think the Architectural Committee can rule that it's not possible to lease or rent a community, a spot and accommodate their 2 cars. One might be a 1.5 ton pickup. I mean, there's all kinds of things I think we can do. So it's not hopeless. I think we just have to be observant of what our CC&Rs provide as protection for this community and make sure that those folks that would like to move in here meet those requirements. And if they can't, the answer is no. And I think I guess the last thing I would say, some people might think, well, how are anybody going to afford to live here in Sun Lakes for 30 days or whatever? I think there could be people that aren't financially very strong, but the state of California and the federal government have demonstrated they're willing to pay what they cannot. And once they're in here, just as you see in the paper, you can't evict them. So I think that Chris and Jason, we're very anxious for you to use the tools that are in our CC&Rs. Thank you for your help.
Thank you, Bruce.
Good evening. My name is Paul Perkins. I'm the person that put this into Facebook, dealing with Airbnb. And I'd like you to know that the person that has this property here to rent or lease or whatever else has now changed their Airbnb site to 30 days, has included that people have to be 55 years old, and a few other things. We need to monitor this because they've changed this within a week for this requirement. I believe that they also, and I'm not sure administration should be able to tell us, that they may have already rented this for a week in July, or 4 days or 5 days. It was blocked out in the Airbnb. Frankly, they need to cancel that. The Airbnb guy does. I agree with, we need to uphold the standards that we have, that we've lived here for a long time. And one is the 55 years of age and more. I believe that possibly the board should get a committee together and sit down and see what other restrictions we can have. When you all bought in here or whatever you did, you just paid about $900 for a membership fee. We're acting like this membership fee can be transferred from one person to the next every 30 days. I think we need to look at that and make a change that corrects that. I know that the person that put this into Airbnb is now told that they can't just call up the administration office and start making out their requirements. I believe that they need to come in person and show their ID that they are. And I'm not sure that, do we want them to have a guard gate pass for 30 days? Do you want them in here? This same person is offering golf cards at a discount, that they buy them here and now they're going to give them at a discount to somebody else because they're the owner, but they're not. They're leasing this property out. I know that our administration has said that if you lease, you've lost the rights to that house at that point. Whoever's leasing gains the rights. I need to think that we need to look at what those rights are going to be And because they went to a one-year lease for a specific reason, and now with the state messing around with everybody, we possibly need to make other changes too. And I think we need to investigate that. Do we want to have a person have a guard pass? Do you want them to have an ID? Is there going to be a charge by the association for doing all this extra work? Because it is beyond the scope of the $900 that you paid. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul.
Okay, well, my name's John Treichler. I'm up on Breckenridge. There's a lot of good information in the last couple of speakers here. I'm hoping that you guys are taking notes up there, but I don't see any pencils moving. Thank you. I appreciate that. Now, I'm not here to shoot the messengers, you know. I realize you guys volunteered for this abuse. I went on Google and downloaded the law that we're trying to address here. And the first question I had was, what is the problem that we're trying to solve here? And having listened to this, it sounds like
your valet parking is up.
all right, sorry guy. Sorry.
Your meal's ready at the bar.
I apologize for that first, I'm sorry. Okay, anyway, all right, so
I can't bleep.
I downloaded the law here, and it looks like perhaps we might be exempt. Okay, Civil Code Section 4010, which is the leading edge of this 4741 here. 4010 says nothing in the act that added this part shall be construed to invalidate a document prepared and action taken before January 2014. If the document was proper and law-abiding at that time. And so I want to give you this thing. Now also, Section 4740, which is one ahead of 4741, reads, an owner of a separate interest in a common interest development, it's us, shall not be subject to provision prohibits rental or leasing of any of these separate interests in a common development to a renter, leaser, or tenant, unless the governing document or amendment was effective prior to the date the owner acquired title. Now, let me give you these two items.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I ain't done. I got one
Oh,
last.
sorry.
I got one last thing. It'll be quick. Okay, now I saw this. I got a copy of this letter, Superior Court, State of California, where the board's going up there and to see if they can get a judge to say 70% approval is good enough rather than 75. And I was going to offer a suggestion. Now, you guys will probably go ahead and do that just to have that in your hip pocket, but you don't have to exercise that option. I was going to offer you an opportunity here, or an alternative. Assign somebody to work with me, and I will write up this whole package, this whole problem. I'll address the problem that we're trying to solve, which is the rental, which is the Airbnb problem that I just heard about, and all the other abuses that we're trying to rein in with this new law, in case that the lawyers say that we're not exempt, or the new law applies to the guys who just bought the property, kind of thing. Give me somebody, I will write the thing up in a nice cogent 12th grade level, which is where I understand things. And you guys approve it, and maybe we can send it out and change that 70% to 75 or more if they understand what we're trying to do here and the actions we're trying to take and our plan. Now, I know you guys wrote some paragraphs when we had all the voting for the members up there, but I didn't grasp the totality of it. So I'm offering to write that package up for you guys. If you guys will give me somebody to work with.
Okay.
Okay. Then we can send it around to everybody and post it. and then they'll understand what we're trying to do, and maybe you don't have to use the judicial hammer that you guys are going to at the Superior Court, trying to get from the Superior Court. What if he says no? Go get 75. Anyway, I know you got to ask, because if we're susceptible to this, if this applies to us, then we got to have it in place by December. But maybe we don't. And so I'll leave that package in your hand, let the lawyers look at it.
Okay.
That's it. Thanks.
Thank you so very much.
And I appreciate, and I just wanted to read from 4741A, though, that new law, they put in the right paragraph to kind of overrule the prior ones. An owner of a separate interest in a common interest development shall not be subject to a provision in a governing document or an amendment, which we had, to a governing document that prohibits, has the effect of prohibiting, or unreasonably restricts the rental or leasing of any of the separate interests, accessory dwelling units, or junior accessory dwelling units in that common interest development to renter, leasee, or tenant. So basically, what they said is, yeah, we know this, but this new law we passed, it takes effect January 1st. Your governing documents, and right there, blocked anything else from the other sections that you've talked about. They basically said, when this law passed, if you have anything that deals with a subject that deals with prohibiting or restricting leasing or renting, those are not enforceable, basically. And so we had to go through the election process because that's the easiest way to amend the governing documents. And that process failed. Now, we would need to, a petition would not work for that 75%. We would need to do another election and have another vote to get that 75%. So that would be the other, either another vote or going to court, which we're doing.
Yeah, like I said, rather than you guys having to do court, do it with the hammer. I'm willing to try and help out and see if we can convince the guys.
I appreciate that. I appreciate
Okay.
that.
Thank you. Barbara?
Okay, and as you know, I've been following the regulation for years. Is that too loud? Oh, okay. I've been following the regulations for years. It's a little pet hobby of mine, and trying to keep the board informed and let you know what's happening. And I use that nasty page, Facebook, the New Sun Lakers, whenever possible, to give the homeowners links to CAI and different sites that are constantly talking about the regulations. Hang on to your hat, folks. Sacramento's coming after you again. They basically, what they're trying to do is remove the single-family zoning. They want every lot to be multifamily whenever possible. So the other piece of information I found out, and I sent it to the board, was there was a recent legal case that came down that was actually in our favor, that said the HOA can charge fees.
Right.
You can't,
I noticed that.
go after them for another HOA fee, but we could charge expense fees for them using the property. So I sent that email to you. I thought that was a good bit of information that gave us a little hope that we could recoup some money and some expenses. So it's a nasty situation.
Usage fee,
So
right.
keep your eyes peeled, folks, because they're coming after us. And hopefully the board and the new group they're forming to follow those things with the attorney can have some impact. And go on Facebook, follow the links, and you'll get help with knowing who your legislatures are. It'll take you right to the website, CAI, and some other ones that will help you get hooked up with your information. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you, Barbara.
We received that. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name's Judy Crowley. Most of what I was going to say, they've already talked about. I'm glad he downloaded the bill. It's 25 pages long. I decided at the last minute not to do that. One of my questions is, has this board contacted any other HOAs in 55-plus communities and tried to form a coalition to fight this. We fight state and federal laws all the time.
We have a senior community action coalition with Four Seasons, Solera, and Highland Springs, and we have talked about this in depth. And so we're working together as a group to take on basically this legislation. So yeah, we have.
Okay. How about other 55-plus communities in the state?
At this point, it's just this local area. Doesn't mean that it can't go a little bit further. And that's-
Okay, I mean, we're halfway through the year. It took effect 6 months ago, and we're just now learning most of this. One of the sections in there says that an attached garage can be converted. If someone does that, that's done already in the community. Now, where are they parking their cars? If they're going to be allowed to park outside, am I also going to be allowed to park outside my home?
Very, very good questions. At this point in time, I don't think we have exact answers yet.
Right. I mean, they won't be, nobody's going to be using the pools because of the chlorine, but I mean, how about the pools and the golf courses and all of our amenities?
Honestly, your concerns we've all talked about that. I totally understand what you're saying, and I think we all do. And it's certainly not something that we're very happy that we have to deal with, because it kind of snuck up on us. It happened during COVID and really wasn't very well advertised that this was happening. And when we did find out, I think it was like March.
And that's also why they did it during COVID.
That's right. That's right.
But I would like to see a larger forum where each one of these items is discussed, because my guess is that many of the people that live here don't even know about this. I'm only here about 2/3 of the year. I travel a lot, and I try to pay attention, but I was even caught off guard, and we need to have everybody learn about what's going on, because...
I agree. I agree.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Board. Dan Comerford. My wife and I have lived here for close to 15 years. I didn't pull down the law on the website like John Treachler did, but there is a paragraph in there I think warrants investigation, and John pointed it out, that anything that happened prior to 2014 provides an opportunity for us to be exempt. If we haven't gotten a legal opinion on that, we should do that, and we need to explore that, because that would relieve a lot of what we're going through right now. If we're exempt, end of story.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dan. I think we need to be done at this point in time. We've got a lot going on here for the rest of the agenda, so I thank everyone for their comments. Okay, so at this point in time, I have a first and a second. Shall we vote on it? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? None. Passes 5-0. Okay, we'll move on to the next item for approval, and this is Amendment 2104. It's also a rule change related to trailer parking and related concerns on private streets. Chris, I'll go ahead and have you read this, please.
I'm sorry, that was, I'm just very happy we had some lively discussion about that. I appreciate the members' concern on this as well. So thank you. And I was just talking about what was provided, so I apologize. I'll get back up to speed. So section, this will be a little longer to read. Just a minute. No singing today. The purpose of this proposed rule change is to address trailer parking and related concerns on the private streets within Sun Lakes. Previously, recreation vehicle parking was addressed in section 5.09, paragraph 17 of the association's rules and regulations. The proposed change will specifically address trailer parking in addition to RV parking. This has been an issue where there's been trailers not connected, dangerous, coming around a corner, you just see the trailer and you nearly hit it. And so what this proposed rule change, if approved, would modify paragraph 17 of section 509 of the association's rules and regulations to be amended as follows, and this is where I'm going to get reading. We don't have the popcorn machine, but we will soon. Recreation vehicle and trailer parking, 17A, residents, number 1, 17A1. Residents may temporarily park recreation vehicles or non-commercial trailers on Sun Lakes Country Club Homeowners Association streets for a period not to exceed 48 consecutive hours. Parking is for loading and unloading only. A limited recreational vehicle or non-commercial trailer pass can be obtained at the main gate or administration office for this purpose. Section 17A2, there must be at least a 3-day period between each 48-hour RV or non-commercial trailer parking pass issued. 17A3, a limited RV or non-commercial trailer parking pass for more than 48 hours must be obtained from the administration office and will be issued in management's sole discretion. Oh, that was my timer. A sole discretion for special or unusual circumstances. 17A4, residents may park recreational vehicles or non-commercial trailers on SLCC sub-association streets, Lakeside, Lakeside 2, and Fairway Villas community associations for a period not to exceed 12 consecutive hours. No overnight parking is permitted. Parking is for loading and unloading only. 17A5, under no circumstances shall any RV or trailer parked within the community be occupied. 17A6, for parking pass purposes, a trailer hooked up to a tow vehicle or a vehicle hooked to a motorhome is considered one vehicle and will be issued only one parking pass under these rules. 17B, guests of residence. 17B1, a 48-hour RV or non-commercial trailer parking pass for guests can be obtained from the main gate. A resident must give approval to the main gate for a guest to obtain such a limited RV or non-commercial trailer parking pass. 17B2, temporary guest RV parking is located in a designated area at the main clubhouse parking lot. The designated parking stalls are painted green. Any guest RV or trailer with habitable space, such as a travel trailer, shall be parked overnight only in the designated RV parking area at the main clubhouse parking lot. 17B3, no guest RV parking or guest parking of any trailer with habitable space is permitted overnight on any Sun Lake streets. 17B4, under no circumstances shall any RV or trailer parked within the community be occupied. 17C, commercial trailer parking. 17C1, commercial trailer parking is permitted only for the period of time in which the related commercial activity, i.e. furniture moving, installation of repairs and improvements, etc., is underway. Under no circumstances shall commercial trailer parking exceed 12 consecutive hours. No overnight commercial trailer parking is permitted. 17C2, pursuant to sections 10.15 and 10.17 of the CC&Rs, commercial vehicle parking on residence property is prohibited except wholly within the residence garage. That completes the long rule change.
Thank you, Chris. So I'll entertain a motion on this issue.
I propose that we go ahead and approve this rule change notification 2104.
For the first and second, any comments from the board? Any comments from the members? Barbara?
Sacramento hasn't taken on our trailers yet.
One thing I'm not is an RV expert, but on this item number 2, I think it's a 17A2, there must be at least a 3-day period between each 48-hour RV or non-commercial trailer parking pass issued. So, I can take out my RV, put it on the street for 48 hours, and then I have to wait 3 days before I get my RV, put it on the street for 48 hours, then wait 3 days. I can bring out my RV for 48 hours and wait 3 days. Is that correct?
It's always been that.
Yes.
I don't know if that's that necessary. I mean.
Yeah, I need to have some break, but we do have members that RV and travel, and that they need to travel, they need to load, unload their vehicle. This gives them that option.
I don't know, it seems excessive to me, but I'm not an RVer, so anyway, FYI.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'll call for a vote. I have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nope. Passes 5-0. Okay, the next thing is we have a request from the Banning Chamber of Commerce to hold the State of the City in Sun Lakes on October 15th. The event's time would be from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. There would be approximately 150 people at the event. So I'll ask for a motion to either approve or not.
I move that we allow the Banning Chamber of Commerce to do their State of the City in October here in the ballroom, if in fact we are prepared at that point with our food and beverage.
I'll second that.
Okay, a first and a second. Any comments from the board? Any comments from the members?
Barbara?
You know, there was a question from the audience that is it going to be filmed? I'm not sure about that. That's something we can look into, because that would probably be very helpful to the community to know what is happening with the city. So, no, I think it is a ticketed event, or so, but we will look to see if we can get that somehow notified of what happens behind the secret doors.
Okay, Barbara.
I've been here since 1994, and to this day, I still believe that we should charge or have a fee for use of our ballroom and facilities. We all pay a fee, and I think outsiders should pay a fee. So, I mean, I know they pay a non-refundable deposit that would barely cover any damage that they might do. But, and on several occasions over the last few years, I have also asked to see a P&L on these events, because people say, well, if we let them hold an event, we will make money. That'll be the day, because I know our restaurant doesn't make any money. But still, if I might not object if I could see that I had a P&L where the State of the City made us money, whether it be all the other nonprofits that ask us to use our facilities, that put a little bit more wear and tear on our facilities, yet we're just all expected to foot the bill. And I think in these times of ever-increasing cost, where we don't get a break, that it's time that somebody consider the residents and what we're paying, because when that dues increase comes in on the budget, boy, do we hear about it then. So anyway, I would appreciate, if not this time, then down the road, that the board once again reconsider that. Why shouldn't we make some money for our ballroom? And or let's see some P&Ls that show when we bring in these outside groups, they're making us money. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara.
We didn't vote yet, right? We didn't vote. Yeah, I don't understand.
Good evening, Paul Perkins again. Banning has a community center. I would like these organizations to start using it. And it's available, it's rentable, and I don't see any reason why money is being taken out of your pocket to set up for some unknown reason. We have to put it up, we have to clean it, we have to take it down, and it's not free. I think you'll have some people to say, well, it's our civic duty. Our civic duty is to ourselves here. It's time to look at ourselves and start asking, why don't we get some money for this? Because frankly, it isn't for free. We understand we're going to have a budget problem. Oh, this is not going to affect the budget problem? Thank you.
Thank you, Paul.
Well, I'm inclined to give them the benefit of the doubt. If they want to come in here and we can make some money with the food and beverage and so on, it doesn't hurt to have a little grease or consideration with the city of Banning. And I'm willing to what the hell? You got my name up there. Call me up and I'll come down and help with the setup.
He's going to go down to Albertsons.
Yeah, let's give them a break. It also gives us an opportunity to chat with them one-on-one, and we don't get a chance to do that. Okay.
Thank you.
Hi, David Keeley, former owner many, many years ago of Audiovisual Industries, and we provided equipment at major hotels. We had a fee schedule, and the same thing is available probably in this area. If you wanted to go book an event at a local hotel, there would be fees for microphones, for overhead projectors in those days, but video, slide projectors, video projectors, screens, all of that, there's a fee schedule, and it would be really easy to set up a fee schedule for use of this room and this facility. I highly recommend that, but I think in this case, we need to proceed and approve this, because down the road, we need to establish a fee schedule, and people can decide to book an event here that's really professional, really well done, and it's going to cost whatever it would cost anywhere else, because this is a prime location, and there's not very many places in the greater San Gorgonio Pass where you can do events like this. Actually, you could get probably these fee schedules from Morongo. They do a lot of events.
Thank you, David. Okay, we've got a first and a second to approve this. I'll go ahead and vote. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? 0, 5-0. Passes. Thank you for all your comments on that. No, I'm not going to ignore them, but at this point in time, we passed it, and we'll take everybody's comments under consideration. Thank you. Okay, our next item is a request from the Banning School District to hold a Fill the Bus event at Sun Lakes. The purpose of this event is to allow Sun Lakes residents to donate school supplies for needy students in the Banning School District. A school bus will be provided to accent the event, and volunteers will be available throughout the day to accept the donations from residents. Marketing will be done through several venues so that there will be maximum donations of school supplies. And this will take place on a weekday sometime during the month of August. Don't know exactly the date yet. So all items will be sorted by the volunteers and delivered to the 11 schools in Banning. Many of our residents were teachers and can appreciate the significance of this event. So I'll ask for a motion on this particular topic.
I'll make a motion. We approve the Friends of Faith in Action event to fill the bus.
Second.
Any comments from the members? I mean, from the board? How about from the members? Okay, with that, I'll call for a vote. Dan's making his way up to the microphone.
Appreciate the fact that the board would like to do this very generous thing. But at some point in time, this kind of stuff has got to stop. We just did Charity Week. When does Charity Week end?
I just can't imagine. My name is Bruce Patrick, and I'm very disappointed to hear comments made about making money off of a meeting that the city wants to have, a state of the city's position here. And now we're trying to make money off of them. And now I'm hearing that this bus full of supplies for kids is got to stop. You know, Sun Lakes has a reputation and a mission, and that is we need to give back. And you guys have done this for years and years. And this does not need to stop. We can afford it. We should do it. It's the proper thing to do, particularly from a community that is 55 and older. We've gone through a life. We live in just a beautiful community, and we need to give back. And to look at how we can make $5 off the opportunity, I think is out of character for this community. So,
Thank you.
I think we ought to approve it.
Thank you. I just want to make a comment. I'm sure many of you are teachers, retired teachers, have family members that are teachers, and how much money teachers put into their classroom out of their own pocket. And this is helping our children.
Linda, if I can make a comment as well. Charity Week is, and all charity is your choice. So if you would like to give, then we'll be giving you an opportunity and a place to do so. If you choose not to, again, it's your choice. I know there's a lot of people in here who choose to give. That's it.
Thank you. Okay, I've got first and a second. All in favor for holding the Fill the Bus event?
Aye.
Aye.
Passes 5-0. Okay, the Bingo Advisory Committee requests to resume bingo nights on August 10th, 2021. So basically, bingo would like to come back. At this point in time, it's been part of our little community, and the request is to get it back up and going. So I'll take a motion for...
I move that we allow bingo to come back August 10th.
And I will second that.
Any comments from the board?
It's a win-win proposition, and we're glad to have them come back.
And any comments from the community? Come on up, Pat.
Bring your bottle.
Hi, I'm Pat Puckett. My question would be about bingo. I'm not a big bingo player, but I'd like to know where the proceeds go from bingo.
There are no proceeds.
We don't make money.
All
They
the
don't
money
make any
that's
money?
taken in is given back out in prize money.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Jason,
So Pat, the way it works with bingo is whatever is taken in, each week they plan out the payouts for each game. Then what happens is that by state law, they can only hold back up to $2,000 a month. Now, again, with the state law, all that proceed that they get, that $2,000 a month that they can hold back, can go a couple places. One, repair equipment, so the bingo board to buy supplies. The other has to go to charity. So that's why the bingo every year, I know when I was recreation director, they used to give me, $2,000, $2,500 for the
Right.
Veterans Walk.
Right.
I know that they have given a lot of money to bingo, to charity. I remember a couple years back, they gave them like $13,000.
Yeah,
for
and we
bingo
want
night.
you back.
So that's where all the money goes. They've given it to Women for Hope. They've given to a lot of charities
Oh,
every year.
terrific, good. And then do they make any money on any of the food or beverage or anything?
No, that goes straight to the association.
Oh,
Any profit, yeah.
terrific. Well, thank you.
maybe you'll come out and play bingo, Pat?
Diane Patrick again. Are we going to offer any food, hot dogs, pizza for sale for bingo? Has that been discussed?
So actually, we were talking about that, of this opening one, we will probably have some options. We're going to work with the committee of maybe prepackaged items. Long-term, though, there is a desire, I think, from the board to have offerings to comply with State of California Taxation Agency, or whatever name they are today. They keep changing names, they're hiding. We would have to do a different pricing schedule for that because we have outside people that would be, because the outside people do come in. So through the POS system, we'd have to set up a separate pricing schedule. But that is something, there's an opportunity there
Yes.
for selling alcohol and food and everything. But I think the beginning one, we're going to talk to the committee about what immediate options we can get for their opening that's happening on August 10th.
Okay, thank you.
And we'll be talking to your committee about that too.
Okay, I've got a first and a second. All in favor to approve bingo coming back on August 10th?
Aye.
Passes 5-0. All right, the next item is a reserve expenditure request to approve the pavement rehabilitation proposal from J.B. Bostic Company in the amount of $313,694.58 funded from reserves. We had 3 RFP responses, and the bid chosen was from J.B. Bostic Company. I'll ask for a vote on this, please. I mean, not a vote, a motion. Duh, it's late.
I'll move to accept the $313,694.58 and award Bostic the contract. Is that what you need?
Yes.
Yes, and I'll second that, Linda.
Okay, any comments from the board?
Yes, I think it's rather foolish to spend $313,000 on repair of streets when some of them do not need to be repaired. We have a reserve study, which is a 5-year plan, and some of these streets are only 2 years into the 5-year plan, and they're going to redo them. You know, to me, I think we should investigate it some more, check with the consultant, how they came up with that, because it doesn't coincide with our reserve study. And I think that we're wasting money.
I'll kind of respond a little bit to that. Last year's reserve study was not done in person. No one went actually physically here to look at the streets. The consultant that comes through on this particular project literally drove the entire community to determine what streets needed to be repaired and repaved versus what the reserve study showed, where there was absolutely nobody looking at the streets. So we actually did have a pretty healthy discussion on this today about this whole process. And Bob's point's well taken, but also the point of the consultant who is involved in paving on a daily basis came out and toured the community. So that's where this is coming up. So we'll go from there. Any other comments?
Yeah, we had a large discussion about this, and we are doing districts.
So Mark, I want to make sure we're on this. It's District 2, these are roads within District 2, 14, 17, 20, 21, and 23, and the RV lot, correct? Okay.
So going through those streets and looking at the reserve study, yes, there were areas that said they had 2 more years life left on that. But we either do it now or we're going to have to pay more later on. And so that's why we had a large discussion, and I think we need to do it now instead of paying more later on.
And I have a comment, correct me if I'm incorrect, Mark. The reserve study is that Bob was referring to as a 5-year plan. This is part of that 5-year plan.
They're two separate things.
Oh, they're two separate things.
So the
Mark's shaking
reserve
his head no.
study looks at all the assets within the
Right, but-
community. The pavement management plan is a 5-year plan that is done by a road engineer who goes through. And what Bob had brought up is that the numbers that was done in early 2020 by the reserve study to get into the budget, as the pavement management plan was being finalized later, there were some changes that were made in recommendations. When they came and did the walk in February, I believe, or January, February, that time, to identify these are areas, some on the north side in 17, haven't been addressed for many years. I've talked to the members in that district. And so this would address some of the, and others, and that was determined these needed to be done. One of the things that also talked about is right now it may be a seal overlay. Waiting another year because we seem to be having some issues, City of Banning pipes that are causing problems. City has to go in there, tear up the road. We're seeing more and more of this. So what may be an overlay right now, wait a year, it could be a larger problem. That's where the counter that Linda brought up. And so there are 2 points of view. Both can be valid from the perspective they're looking at. Right now, I don't know if Mark wants to add anything, or don't shove the member out of the way.
I did. I just did.
Chantel, you can hit him. You can hit him,
Chantel,
Chantel. Yes, you can.
So after the discussion today with the board, and like I said, Bob and Lori were the two that had some concerns, and they're legit concerns. And where we need to work better in the future is with the reserve specialist. The reserve specialist is an off-site vendor. He'll come on site, but like I said, he's been off-site for the year. The consultant is here on site. He spent 3 weeks here this year, as he does every year, and he's been the consultant here for, I believe, the last 15, 17 years. So he's an outside vendor, independent, seeks the proposals, gets the sealed bids, sent into admin, the board opens those bids. Holding back on this project this year, which we haven't done any year prior, we have cracks throughout the community, and we've all seen them across the roadways. If we don't address those cracks, as the consultant has identified, it's not just seal coating, it's crack filling first, seal coating over. If we bypass that process a year down the road with this drought, our soils are shrinking, our roads are separating faster and faster, and we're going to end up doing the overlay, as Chris stated, down the road. So that's all I have. Chantel, it's all you.
Okay. I'm probably too late anyway.
You can pull the mic down. You can just, there you go.
Like this?
There you go.
Okay, hi. It's probably too late to bring that up anyway. But a few years back, when we had the roads all done, the rule of St. Lakes was done. And what I don't agree is that we have districts that were built over, I don't know, 15 or 20 years period, and the first 10 districts are needing the road to be taken care of more than the other ones. And that's not what we're doing, and I don't think it's right. Like in the one that you just mentioned, our district is not in, and it's one of the really bad one. And because we've been there since 1989, the one that been here since 2000 something don't have as much issue than we have. So when you do that again in the future, it should be done. This year we're going to do this portion from the first district to the 8th district. The following year from the 8th, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I think that would be fair. Okay?
Thank you.
Well, I didn't intend to speak anymore. My name is Bruce Patrick, and I'm in favor of spending that money now. Because, you know, we have a community that's located on a hilly plot, and that hill is always moving around. And if you drive Sun Lakes, we have a lot of cracks. And it's very important to seal those, because if the water gets through those cracks to the underlying support, those supports go away, and it gets terrible to drive on. So if you have any question about whether or not we need it, just drive around and take a look. We have cracks, and if we get into avoiding it, we're going to look like Phoenix. Phoenix, Arizona has lots of communities that decided not to do what you're proposing. And we've gone there, we have friends that live there. And it's just terrible. I mean, driving on their streets, and not only are they hard to drive on, but they are ugly. So I think we should go ahead on that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bruce. David?
Hi, I'm David Puckett, and I just want to make a comment that I think the RV lot is included in this package, correct?
It is.
And if you want to see some cracks, I don't know if any of you have been in there, probably Linda has, but that RV lot's got some real serious cracks and weeds growing up in the middle and whatnot, so it needs to be done, that's for sure.
Thank you, David.
Yeah, I would just like to make the comment, my proposal was not an all or nothing, and not to continue it for an entire year. I'm just saying, some of the, has 3 more years life out of 5 years, that maybe we should have someone from here examine it, make sure that it's really, really needs to be done. Because if they said 3 more years out of 5, and to me, that means that it should be in pretty good shape. It doesn't hurt to review the specifics before you spend $313,000, that's all. And I'm not saying for an entire year. I'm just saying examine it now and then determine, do we need the entire 100% done or not?
Yes, I'd like to comment as well, and I agree with Bob. The RV lot definitely does need to be done, and some of these streets definitely need to be done. However, there are a few of the streets who still have 2 to 3 years life on them, and I think that we should maybe consider not doing those ones, but the majority of the repairs are necessary.
Again, I'm going to go back to the fact that the reserve study is a paper project plan, however you want to go, based off of a 5-year plan. If roads that are inspected by a consultant that we paid to come out and look at the roads deem that these roads need to be repaired, I would hope that we listen to the consultant who literally has just inspected the roads. And this is kind of the conversation that we had today. So you can see where it was a long conversation and you can see where this all went. So with that, I'm going to call for a vote. I have a first and a second to approve the $313,694.58 funded from the reserves to J.B. Bostic Company for the repair of the roads. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
No?
So it passes 3-2. Okay. The last one on this before we go to member comments. It's been a long night. It's been a long day. We've been at this since 9 o'clock this morning, so. So this is the first reading of Rule Amendment 21-05, that it's related to an escrow rush inspection fees, and I'll have Chris read the proposal.
Okay, this one is going to be 8 pages long, so I'm just kidding. That was for that clap that you did. In seriousness, back to business. The purpose of this proposed rule change is to create a procedure for owners and/or authorized agents to purchase a rush status for the pre-sale inspection. And so the change would occur on Article 5 of the Planning and Compliance, Section 5.05, Compliance Inspection Policy, Number 3, Pre-sale inspection would read, upon a request from an owner or from an owner's and/or buyer's authorized escrow company for the information to be provided to the buyer pursuant to California Civil Code Section 4525A5, the association shall schedule an inspection of the subject property. Such inspection shall be scheduled to take place within 7 working, that's a change, days of the association's receipt of a request. And these are other items added right here, this paragraph. Should the requester or other representative of the owner require the pre-sale inspection to be completed sooner than the deadline permits, the requester may submit a completed pre-sale compliance inspection rush form and the payment of $250 payable to Sun Lakes Country Club HOA at the administration office. The pre-sale compliance inspection will then be completed and returned to the requester within 2 working days of the receipt of the request. The rush status for the pre-sale inspection may only be purchased at the administration office. So just to give you a background, we have seen a lot of homes, I'm sure marketing, communication, many of you, the turnover on these homes. That has put a burden to get these houses closed and on our planning and compliance. They have, as you read earlier, these 7 working days. In some cases, the escrow departments, those agents, the sellers, and the buyers want to move very quickly. In order to accommodate that, there would be a cost for moving them to the front of the line on the rush. Several have asked if there's a rush for this. We are trying to work with that, and that's why this has come before the board. This is only the first reading. If the board approves this first reading, this would be then published in the August edition of Lifestyles and would return on September 22nd's open session meeting for a final approval to take effect October 1st, 2021. That completes the report.
Thank you, Chris. So basically what we're going to vote on right now or try to approve is the reading, and then we'll continue on in September. So I'll ask for a motion on this, please.
Make a motion that we approve the proposed rule change notification number 2105.
I'll second that.
Great, thanks. Okay, any comments from the board? Any comments from the members? Great, I'll go ahead and we'll vote on it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 5-0. That's good. We're done with all that stuff. Now we're going to go to any kind of comments from the board tonight. I'll start with Beverly.
The only comment I really have is I'm impressed. Thank you all for staying and being so involved. This is how Sun Lakes will grow, so thank you.
You know what? I was so, it's been a long day. I forgot. We got members' comments right now. So I'll go ahead before we finish our board comments and start with John Treichler. Do you have anything that you want to
Were those
talk
comments or
about?
just notes for the board that you offered to join EPAP, et cetera?
Okay, so this addresses everything you talked about earlier? Okay, great,
Thank you,
thank
sir.
you so much.
You need to come over to the
You do really need to come to the mic.
people on Channel 97 want to hear what you're saying too.
Hey, guys, reference the paving out there. Your architect and your professional engineer who went out there and did the road survey, I'm expecting one of you guys to go out there and take a look yourself.
We can do that, but
No.
right now we need to really address what you
I
have
know,
on
I
here.
know. Hey, I know, but I was just gonna stand up and say, for Christ's sake, go out and look at it yourself. You guys can recognize a problem when you see it. Okay.
Good point.
And John, you also have another thing about EPAP, but you don't need to talk about that, that's just something, okay. And then Judy Crowley regarding SB 3182. I think she talked about it earlier as well.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, now we'll continue with the board comments. Anything, Lori?
I just have one quick comment. Reminder that on 4th of July, the library committee is going to be having a book sale in the main clubhouse library. They're selling books and puzzles.
Great, thank you. Bob?
Yes, I just want to make an announcement. The Olympic Games have changed. We're still doing them, but it's just a different name. It's now the Sun Lakes Summer Games. And the reason is that the International Olympic Committee might be concerned about the trademark and the copyright on their names and their rings and everything. So to be legal, we decided to go ahead and change the name, do the same thing, but under the name of Summer Lake Summer Games. There's a flyer that my wife made, is going to be put on the website shortly, and the games themselves are going to be coincide with time of the Olympics, but not really be the real games. In other words, no javelin throw, no discus, nothing really risky, but a lot of fun. We want to get people out, get them involved, get them active in the community now that we're coming out of the pandemic. It's going to be run through the clubs or groups. Anyone interested, contact myself, Randy Robbins, or Elise, and they're going to go ahead and conduct the events, and they let us know by July the 9th who wants to participate, so we know how many medals to order, because they're going to be receiving gold, silver, and bronze medals, just like you would in the Olympics. We're going to have a major award ceremony here on August the 7th at 2 o'clock. There will be refreshments, free entertainment, and a lot of fun. They're also going to have 3 events that are not club-related. Well, maybe 3. One was swimming. We're not sure about that right now. The other was race relay and cornhole toss. So if you're interested in that, you must sign up, see Elise or Jason, prior to the 21st of July, and the events themselves will all take place on Saturday, July 24th. Anyhow, thank you very much.
Great, thank you. Linda?
Today, we were talking about how many homes were for sale in Sun Lakes, and I think Lori mentioned we had 13, and I just got an email, we now have 11. 2 went into escrow already today. Some comments that we received from our community patrol company. April and May have seen an increase in unsecured pedestrian gate entry. When you come in and go out with your key, some people are not closing those gates all the way, so they lock. So if you're doing that, could you please make sure that you jiggle that gate and make sure it's locked? It's particularly happening on gates 5, 6, and 3. We're good. We're on gate 4 side, so we're good. Also, I know it's really hot, and I know a lot of residents are leaving the bottom part of their garage doors open a little bit to get the air out, but you might be doing that, but you're also going to let snakes and other things in. So it's recommended that put a fan, try to cool it out, but don't leave your garage door open. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Linda. Okay, I've got a couple of comments. We've received some emails and some verbal, just, talking with residents about the restaurant and lounge. What's really important is that it's great that everybody's out doing what we love to do, and that's eat, drink, and listen to music and have some fun. Unfortunately, there's still issues with hiring staff. People apply, they set up interviews, and they don't show. And that's continuing, and it probably will still for a little bit. I do know that First Service is working diligently to try to get that taken care of and get staff on board, but we're still struggling with that. So one of the things that we've talked about with Chris and staff is the training of the new people that are here, and how to get them on board with what Sun Lakers like. It's kind of what we like, we're used to. So that part's going there. Also, there's been some feedback about the quality of the food and how slow the service is. The management team, again, is addressing these issues to improve and provide the quality service that you expect. What I will do, though, is ask for your patience when dining. Kindness can go a long way. If the kitchen is backed up, it's not the server's fault that your food isn't ready. So just keep that in the back of your mind. And you certainly say something, that's fine, but please be kind when doing so, because sometimes we can be a little impatient and it comes across not as nice as it should. With both the dining room and the veranda being utilized without a full staff, things will be slower in the past. And then depending on the staffing issues, both with the servers and in the kitchen, there may be a point in time when there are fewer tables available in the restaurant. So anyone that's dining there has the experience that you're accustomed to. So we may have to close down a few tables in order to make sure that we can service who's in there eating already. I do want you to know, though, that we're all working together with FSI, with for services, just to make sure that, you know, we get the restaurant and lounge back up to what we want it to be, so that you can enjoy that relaxing and quality experience. The budget process, please keep an eye out on the budget meeting schedule if you are interested in the open meetings. The first public meeting is August 9th at 9 a.m. I think Linda said that. These meetings will be held in the ballroom here so that there will be plenty of room for residents to observe the process. And then my last little piece is on communication. We are continuing to strive for that transparency and communicating important information. You know, there's many avenues out there to get that information, including Coffee with the GM, where your questions will be answered if you send them to slccquestions@gmail.com. Channel 97 plays these open sessions, the delegate meetings, the admin updates by Jason and Chris, and then the Coffee with the GM with Chris and Anita Lawrence. All that up-to-date information also can be seen on the or up-to-date information for today can be seen on the banner scrolling on the bottom screen of Channel 97. Again, this crew that is so good at volunteering and get that information out there is doing absolutely everything in their power to get the information that we give them out to you. But you have to go look for it. You know, it's out there. There's Lifestyle, there's Life, the newspaper Life, but Channel 97, Good Day Sun Lakes, our website, all that information is out there, but you gotta go look for it. Will things fall through the cracks on occasion? Yes, they will. But if you bring it to our attention, we'll do our best to make sure that we get it out there. So we're really working together to provide you that information that you really need to stay informed. So stay tuned. So thank you very much for coming, and a lot of you stayed late today, and we appreciate that. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion, we adjourn. Thank
And
you
I'll
for coming.
second that one.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for staying. Thank you for attention.